Today, we're talking about the collision that's already happening inside your business. Whether you see it or not, AI is disrupting how we work, right? It is moving fast, but regulation is moving faster, and you are right in the middle.
We're in a world now where deploying AI isn't just a tech decision, it's a compliance decision. Between EU AI Act and upcoming changes to the HIPAA security rule, which is going to happen pretty soon, hopefully,
In
the margin
May,
for error is
coming.
shrinking fast.
Yeah. And here's the kicker. Most companies are still treating AI like a tool, when
Mhm.
regulators are treating it like a regulated system.
Correct.
Welcome to the Van Ryn Compliance Podcast with Rob and Dawn. We help growing teams reduce risks, build trust, and stay audit ready without the overwhelm.
I'm Rob with Van Ryn Compliance, one of the co-founders here.
And I'm Dawn, co-founder as well with Van Ryn Compliance.
Yes, and today we are going to dive deeper into the AI boom and how navigating the compliance minefield impacts
Minefield.
business. You like that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
good one.
it is a good one. It is a minefield or a landfill or a landfill. Different how people want to do, right? But let's give AI its credit, right? Here's what we're seeing. We're seeing automation at scale. We're seeing a faster decision-making process, real
Mhm.
productive gains, and AI is moving from a plot into production.
Yep. But every one of those deployments comes with risk exposure,
Yeah.
documentation requirements, and
Mhm.
oversight expectations. This is no longer optional. And as far as the regulatory squeeze, let's talk about the EU side of it. EU they've already implemented the AI Act. It's already leading globally. We are behind. The United States is, that is. They have built this. It's a risk-based structure, and their structures basically banned, high risk, limited, or minimal. Leave it to the
That's it.
Europeans. They're very black and
That's it.
white.
That's it.
And by August 2026, high risk systems are fully enforced. That means hiring AI, healthcare AI, and financial decisioning. These are all going to be under heavy scrutiny. So now, Rob, tell us about the US and the HIPAA side of things. That's the EU side of things.
Yeah. So on the US side of things, a little bit different. Obviously, we are governed more per state. I know California and Colorado have a couple of AI laws. There's nothing to date as of April, what do we record? This 27th of an overall AI law. However, where I'm excited, I think Dawn's excited as well,
Yes.
is there is some legislation that's moving forward. And also the HIPAA security rule will be changing next month. So about a month from now, we will have a new HIPAA security rule. There's nothing that states explicit AI governance in there, but there are some AI enhancements. But let's see what the final rule looks like.
Right.
The big things that we're seeing within the HIPAA security rule is, first of all, MFA needs to be everywhere the EPHI touches. That's a key thing. Everywhere and anywhere the data is touched, you have to have multi-factor, from your computers to the platforms you use to any type of chatbots to anything. You've got to have that. Encryption, transit, and rest. This has been a long time standard. However, it is now going to be required, and you will be audited against that. We audit our clients to this level already, which makes it a lot easier.
Yep.
The annual risk assessments, real ones, not checklists, kids. We can't be doing that anymore. We've been doing this for years for our clients. But what's going to happen now is you're going to have 60 days to be audit ready, where the government will be doing sampling. You have to have an audit security report from your auditors to show what you actually have done. Vendor accountability, risk register. I think, Dawn, that's your favorite one, is the risk.
Yep.
We just went through all of ours at Van Ryn. We listed all of our partners out. We list the services they provide, and we list the cost. And lo and behold, there's some cost savings in there. So that's another good thing.
Yes.
There's always money in software to get cleaned up and cut a little bit. The next two I'm excited about. Actually, the next three. First of all, is the vendor accountability is a big one. You need to make sure you're not working with vendors. You need to make sure you're working with true strategic partners, period. No more vendors. Everybody's tied in this together. If they're going to act like a vendor, you need to get rid of them and move on. Plain and simple. The next two pieces is the pen testing and vulnerability scanning. We are doing this at Van Ryn Compliance. This is a new service for 26, and we've got multiple companies already signed up and already moving forward. We're very excited how we're using AI to go ahead and do the penetration testing with Betty and our team as the human in the middle, right, to verify everything. And because there's a legal piece to that, and we're going to make sure to do it right. And then the last piece is your recovery expectations. You got to get your environment back up within 72 hours. That's going to be a law. Honestly, you better get that up within 10 hours or 8 hours
Mm.
or 6 hours, whatever your business can deal with the pressure on that.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the key
Mhm.
pieces of what we got to really look at.
Yep.
So now as we layer AI on top of that, that's where things get a little funky, don't they, Dawn? They get a little
Yes. So this
start
is
to break.
AI. Imagine AI and HIPAA colliding.
HIPAA.
Interesting. I don't know. That's it.
Is
Very.
it another A on the back of HIPAA?
So let's break this down. So, data exposure, AI tools and just data.
Mhm.
If that includes EPHI and it's not controlled, that can be considered a breach.
Mhm.
Okay? So that's a big thing here is there are AI tools that do ingest EPHI. They are HIPAA
Mhm.
compliant tools. We're not talking ChatGPT, folks. just to be clear. And then Rob, tell us about the other.
The shadow. Yes, I was
Yes.
looking at the shadow.
Yeah.
Your employees are already using it. It's on their phones. It's Microsoft environment, Copilot, Gemini on the Google environment, right? GBT, Claude bots, Malt bots, all the bots, any bots. Everybody has plugged in an LLM. Every platform has plugged it in and they're selling it to you, right? That's already there. It's already
Mhm.
in your ecosystem. You just don't know where it is.
Right.
So this is where there's a problem. There's no audit trail. There's
Mhm.
no access control, governance, I guess governments, you could say. And that's a HIPAA failure. We don't want the HIPAA
Mhm.
failure. Those are
Yep.
the key pieces.
Yep.
We need to talk about the inaccurate outputs.
Oh,
That's a big thing.
yes. Yes. So, yeah, not only is it just around and you're entering whatever you are entering in to it, giving it to it or teaching it, I guess I should say. The AI hallucinations in healthcare, no, that is not only putting healthcare data in an AI that's not HIPAA compliant, but it's basically like think about if it hallucinated.
Yeah.
That's a huge liability. I mean, that's crazy. Even if it's HIPAA compliant and you're using, you're a provider and you're banking on the
Mhm.
data it's going to provide from ambient listening, if you will,
Yeah.
like in a clinic.
Oh, yeah.
Think about the liability if it spits out the wrong symptoms, diagnosis, all that stuff. You definitely have to have a human in the middle, for that especially. So, um,
Yeah.
it's scary.
Definitely. The lack of logging. You already
Mm,
talked about that.
mm,
Making sure is everything logged, is all the audit controls actually logged,
mhm.
everything really dialed in and tightened up,
Right.
is a big thing. Obviously, the AI vendors, which we want true partners. You got to have a business associate agreement.
Mhm.
BAs are key. They're still a thing. They're actually going to get more enforced, meaning we're actually going to do full audits of all BAs, which we've
Mhm.
been doing. And the government's been okay with it, but now it's like, I want to see them all. Let me see all your contracts. So these are now required, which is required evidence. It's not just, it's always been required to have it. It's meaning that, oh, I've done business with this company for 5 years and I just
Mhm.
have a BA for the last couple months. No, it's since 5 years ago you have that.
Yeah.
Security validation and ongoing oversight. Those are the key pieces that you got to make sure there's a fly. That's a vendor risk right there. But you got to make sure
That's an AI bot
ongoing
flying around. No.
I guess. Oversight and no expectations. Those are
Uh,
key pieces.
Yeah. Yep. You already mentioned the lack of logging. So HIPAA
Yeah.
requires audit controls, logs, access logs, all this stuff.
Mhm.
AI systems without logging, without knowing who did what and what, tracking the chats or whatever,
Mhm.
just the logging, the date timestamp, it's just not compliant. There's nothing that's not. So, the danger is right now is everyone and their brother and their uncle and their aunt and their grandma and everyone is creating some sort of AI bot. And it's not just the Claude and the ChatGPT and the Gemini and the Copilot. They're creating AI bots that work with those, on those, between those. I mean, it is crazy today. I mean,
Like a
you
middleware.
could just go out there and it'll give you a whole list of I plug into this and I plug into that. So now you've got whatever on the back end, but then you've got these other little bots that are within it, inside of it. So now you've got more liability because now you have the chat, or the
Yeah.
main LLM, right? Then you've got all these other bots within that. So that you have to really understand where the data is flowing. Is this all compliant? I mean, is this bot that's in there doing these things? Where is that data? Is it, where's that data going? And so you can see here, there's just, you get excited. Oh, this can do this and this can do this. Oh, I'm going to plug into this and plug into that. But be careful.
Then they become agentic and they start talking. Bots talk to each other. It's all Terminator thing. This doesn't look good. So that's why we're going to go on to the next segment of a real world breakdown. When the bots take over. Wait, no, we're not doing that. Let's kind of walk now. Okay, we've gone through the steps. So let's take a real world experience, right?
Yeah.
What does it really look like? If you're anyone from a healthcare SaaS company, we work with providers, we work with answering services, we work with IT platforms, we work with technology platforms, we work with MSPs, MSSPs, we work with all these type of different companies, right? What if they deploy a chat assistant? What if they deploy a voice bot that takes phone calls? What if they deploy a bot that reviews documentation, security documentation, and there's internal automation and there's some clinical support for our providers, right? They're just going to turn it on because, like the folks at Epic, which is a big one, or Solution Reach or any of those other, they're like, yeah, we're just going to turn it on. $10 more a month. Where's the data going? How do you know where it's going? Have you put that on your risk register? Have you asked those questions? Is your data getting ingested into their LLM and actually being used to train their environment, right? We've got that formal governance, which is key.
Yeah. So no formal governance. We keep saying governance. Then data flows aren't mapped. Vendors aren't vetted, and there's no logging.
Boom.
Boom. Exposure, potential exposure, risk. And it can all be done very, you can see how easy it can be done. Someone won't know. They think they're trying to automate or do something better, make their job better. And they don't know that what they're doing is causing a huge exposure. And that's what AI governance is all about.
Yep. And I still believe that people are good, right? So they generally want to help the process and they're going to use Claude or GPT or something to do that. Example, our team, right? We're using AI. We're using a lot of Claude lately to verify and review documentation before it goes into our QA process. And so we've put the guardrails around that. And we've already made sure that the data is ours. We've set up our business accounts. We're not sharing the data. We've trained the team how to use it, the steps to go through it. And I want you listeners to do that as well, because that reduces the incident exposure and the legal exposure. We have to remember, no matter what, all these bots come out. And everything comes and has some fun and they're all chatting. The law hasn't changed. The accountability is still to your leadership. And the accountability is still to you who actually enable that bot. Nothing has changed. That hasn't changed. We just have a new toy over here, right? And when you go into OCR investigations and you're reviewing, what's going on and review the incident or review the breach, what's going to happen is that they're going to look for the human in the middle and where's it been verified. That's a big piece.
Yeah.
And the worst part, they didn't even know it was happening. A lot of folks, either from a management standpoint, a leadership standpoint, or even just a technical standpoint or an employee standpoint, they're not sure what just happened. So then they're like, wow, what do we got to do with this? How do we make this better, right? How do we fix this? And those are the things that we're really looking at. And those are the big keys.
Yep. And every AI tool, approved or not, if it exists, you track it. So I tell our customers, you need to put on your third party supplier register, you need to put what AI tool it is, if it's paid, hopefully it is, and what data is flowing through it. And if it's hooked to anything, on, and make sure that tool is it secure? What are some of the certifications? What is the security of it? And that type of thing. And the other thing is an AI usage policy.
Oh, yes.
And this is basically laying out to your team, these are the tools we're using, and these are the ones you need to use. And what is not okay is not putting it into whatever's easier for you, meaning your personal account, your phone. I'm just going to do this real quick. Nope. It needs to be in the paid account. So it's training your employees to use the company approved AI tools. So that's definitely what you need to do.
Because if you can't map it, you can't control it.
Yep.
You don't know what that is. So that risk register is key. So like a takeaway for everybody listening is sit down and just use a spreadsheet, use a Google Doc, Word Doc, whatever doc, right? And just map down here, get your team together and just map it down. Where does the data go? Data flow. Those classic sticky notes. I'm going to do a lot more sticky notes lately and my whiteboard over there. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And the next piece is business associate agreements. We are actually going through our audits now, we're reviewing client BAs and actually looking to see how old they are because they're all going to need to get updated here, well, in the next month. Meaning there'll be new laws, meaning that we're going to have to refresh everything, which we already have
Mhm.
everything we need.
Yep.
It's through the audits, basically starting from May forward, do we have
Mhm.
everything ready because you have 60 days to be auditable, and then everything is going to be set by end of the year. So
And remember, as far as validating and vetting your vendors, you can always go to the bottom. A good vendor is going to have, a good partner is going to have a trust bar or security center and go check it out. You can check out their certificate. You can go check it out and search it because if you know what happened with some of these platforms that did
Bill,
false SOC
what's that?
2
Yeah.
certs, they're false. So that website will be like, oh yeah, I'm SOC 2 certified. So you should be able to go and validate their
Yep.
security. There's ways to do that. You can find out if they are actually certified, examined for SOC 2 or certified if you're ISO. So don't just take a HIPAA seal or something just like, oh, they have a HIPAA seal. That means nothing.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ask them for their last, like a risk summary report.
Yeah.
Go ask them for some sort of summary report that says, hey, we've done these things. These are the controls. Have them give you a policy. What is, where's your security policy? That type of thing. Because don't just go off of their website and what it shows and that, this and that.
Yeah.
Dig into it. This is your customer's data. This is nothing to joke around about.
Yeah. And I always like to look at sub-processors.
Mhm.
Like where's the data going, right?
Yep.
What platforms is it going to? How is
Yep.
it flowing? How is it getting processed? What type of data? Is it here locally? Is it
Mhm.
international? Stuff like that. I always like to look at the sub-processor pieces as
Yeah.
well.
Point.
And then moving into, we've talked about the BAs and locking down your partners, making sure that they have only the access they need. But moving
Mhm.
into the multi-factor encryption, logging, and access controls. Those
Mhm.
are big. These are not just nice to have. These are going to be required along with
Mhm.
penetration testing, which is going to be required
Yep.
annually, and
Yep.
then bull scans. We're going to
Mhm.
go quarterly with our clients. It's like you just got to do this. Well, you can do it monthly. You can do it daily.
Mhm.
It gets a little bit heavy, but you can do that. You can do
Yep.
that from a corporate
And
perspective.
adding that AI governance, this is going to be what most companies have no idea what this means. Oh, I
Yep.
have an AI usage policy. I'm good. Nope. The governance, there is different levels of AI governance. And it depends on a lot of different things. So we would, basically do a scoping call,
Mm-hmm.
what AI you're using, what data is flowing through that AI, all these things. And it kind of helps us understand what level of AI governance you need. So it's not only policies, there's also a risk register. There's an approved tool list, which is your supplier risk register, and most importantly, ongoing oversight. It's not a one and done. We're not checking the box, folks. This is something that needs to be reviewed ongoing. And I'm saying AI governance is probably more of a quarterly, if not earlier than that, because AI is changing every second. You can do a HIPAA audit annually, yes, because HIPAA doesn't change. I mean, it doesn't change daily by minute, but AI is changing so rapidly that the AI governance is going to have to be an ongoing oversight.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yep,
And this is where companies get behind, right? They need
yeah,
to test the environment. Those are the key pieces.
hmm
This is where companies are really sure what to do. This is
hmm
why penetration testing and vulnerability scanning are not optional. You
yeah,
got to do it. You need to do it. And you need to understand the risk of your environment, especially when AI is
hmm
expanding as an
yeah,
attack surface. Because now
hmm
here's another level of another attack surface, right? There's another
hmm
layer of the cake before you get to the good gooey center, right? Is a layer that will be attacked and be
hmm
exploited. So
and training. What do we do well here at Van Ryn? We train.
we
If
train.
you haven't already, take our free AI training online. We do have a more expanded version that is a paid version, but our free AI training online, it has some very, very good nuggets of information. It will help you and your team really understand what's allowed, what's not allowed, why, and what to do, that type of thing. So, yep.
Yeah, that's a key piece. And it gives good nuggets. We like our compliance training. It's free. That's free. We like free. Go do free. It's good. But this really kind of sum this up and take some actionable items away, right, from this podcast, is really focusing on what the truth is. The truth is AI is not the risk. It's not. It's not the risk to your job. It's not the risk to your business. It's not the risk to the world. But what is the risk is uncontrolled AI risk.
Yeah.
That's the risk. Not knowing what it's doing, not understanding where it's going, not understanding how does it impact the environment. How does it impact my HIPAA compliance verification, or my SOC 2 examination, or my ISO certification, or my HITRUST certification? Those are the key pieces.
Yep. And ongoing compliance, including AI governance, this is all what keeps you going. So it doesn't stop you and stop you and go, oh goodness, oh gosh, we have an issue. It keeps everything going and running smooth in your business.
Yep. Yep, definitely does. And then if you're not deploying AI and you don't have a governance around it, you're exposed. That's a key piece. And this is where, this is why you're here today. To learn from Don and I, and know that you have a helping hand here to help get through that. And those are key pieces. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us in this week's Van Ryn Compliance podcast. If you have questions or concerns or comments, drop them in the comments section down there. Our team reads through them. If you like and subscribe, which I hope you do, pass it along to others so that they can enjoy the podcast as well. And we thank you for joining us this week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.